It's about 9,500 miles between the Golden State and a swanky former angling village on the Italian Riviera known as Portofino, where pastel-painted cabins mix it with celebs and superboats. For Ferrari, however, it's a breach of 10 years between the launch of the California, its first front-engine V8 sports car, and this, the MK2 version. The Ferrari Portofino California is such an iconic call, says Nicola Braari, heads of state of Ferrari product marketing. Trying to stand close wasn't a good thing. Portofino is discreet. It's not as splashy as Monte Carlo. The California was aimed at a new gender of Ferrari customer, younger, with their own families, girls. In one appreciation, it's done that job well, in another it's failed. Braari acknowledges with a shrug that not many girls are really bought a California, but for auto launch just as Lehman Brothers was gasping its last place, the car has attracted a new kind of client simply the same and attracted 35% of Ferrari's total sales. Last time, that numbered 8,398 vehicles, same sex, but other types of client, says Braari, adding that California patrons use their vehicles 150% more than typical Ferrari sports car owners, tend to use their vehicles every day, and 30% of them even use the tiny rear seats. We had to learn new things, he acknowledges. A lot of those new things have been crammed into this auto, which goes on sale this August in the United States priced at $229,551. The basic premise remained the same, a 3.8-liter, twin-turbo V8 driving the backside rotates via a 7-speed, dual-clutch dissemination and an electronically controlled limited slip differential and a rear-mounted transaxle. That's 592 horsepower at 7,500 revolutions per minute and 560 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 revolutions per minute. The torque curve remained up from there with a profile resembling a pond table. It's good for 199 miles per hour. 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds, 0 to 124 miles per hour in 10.8 seconds, and gas mileage in the European experiment round of 31.7 miles per gallon. This is no ordinary family vehicle. The 2+2 Pininfarina designed aluminum figure has been entirely redesigned, but retains the same basic facets as the outgoing California. Dealers reported that the size was just about right, so the Portofino has grown by only 0.62 inches in span and 1.1 inches in thickness. It's lighter by 176.4 pounds, thanks mainly to a lighter figure building and interior, and stiffer thanks to more integral parts and aluminum pans under the floors. Thinner and lighter front seats have pre-spoken up nearly 2 inches of rear legroom. There's an all-new interior with most modern self-controls, a touchscreen and better aircon and Sat-Nav. All were criticisms of the old-fashioned Auto. This new Ferrari even accepts Apple CarPlay, although not Android Auto. But in Europe it'll cost you the equivalent of $3,320. The California's award-winning locomotive remains largely unchanged, but punches out another 39 horsepower thanks mainly to inhaling betterments, with better air intakes and a big bore deplete with electronic valves in the mufflers to draw the air through more efficiently at different locomotive hastens. It likewise enhances the interference. Ferrari still restriction the engines to work in the first 3 gears to encourage it to rev and establishes it feel more like a naturally aspirated division. It also now comes with an intelligent petroleum pump, which increases its pressure when required. At the backside, the Portofino has been given Ferrari's latest software for the limited slip differential and stability self-controls. The California's two-piece folding hardtop radiator examines, making it a hunchback appearing with the top down. For the Portofino, Ferrari spent time camouflaging the backside deck's height with shapes and colors. Though the space needs to be that top still establishes this a rather weirdly proportioned sports car. There's a litany of very pricey optional carbon fiber panels, but in reality the unadorned Auto perceives modern and relatively good seeming with the top up, which can now be erected and folded on the move. The interior is heavily redesigned with a busy but attractive dashboard. Those rear seats are still only appropriate for shopping bags, or children no bigger than shopping bags, but it frees up enough space in the stem to admit 3 airline carry-ons with the roof up. The driver's binnacle is a strange concoction of an analog tachometer flanked by a digital speedometer and ancillary instruments. That steering wheel might look great, but it's hard to tell since it's very mobbed with turn indicators, the horn, suns, damping, and traction and chassis setting switchings, plus the starter. The fixed posture gear change paddles are behind the rotation. Most of it becomes obvious after a while, but relevant indicators aren't well placed for the fingers and the substitution action is poor. The respite of the Sprint is predominantly good, with clear graphics and a fast response from the navigation method, but some of the switchings and rotary self-controls wobble alarmingly. The driver's seating posture is good, with lots of ability changes for steering and bench, but the pedal container is too small for large-scale paws, with overhanging trim catching shoe welts as they trip from brake to throttle and vice versa. In auto of this conduct, that's just frightening. Pull the right-hand fixed position paddle and the container involves first and the clutches grumble. At ploy rapidity, the Portofino perceives unwieldy, with poor views of the body's extremes.